What's going on, Libra? Welcome to your burning question spread. I hadn't done one of these for a while, and I thought I would do one again. So we're diving in. The question is, what do I need to nurture? Now, this can be related to any number of things. Usually, we have some idea of what to nurture, but this is just kind of reading the energies and seeing where it goes. So the question popped up yesterday, and we're gonna dive in. So let's do this, Libra. I would like to invite the angels, my guardian angels, my spirit guides, protectors, teachers, and their healing energy to this space, and I ask that it is a safe and brave space that allows for the fullest expression of our light, humanity, ascension, and healing. Okay, so we're going to pull from the Modern Witch Tarot and see where we go to set the stage here. So, Spirit, what messages do you have for Libra for this burning question spread about what we need to nurture? What are we nurturing here? Ooh, the Tower. This is kind of what's happening right now. Um, let's see where this takes us, though. The story is not complete. A tower unto itself is an event, but there's a whole story here, so let's see where this takes us. The Tower, justice is what we're embracing. Queen of Cups, which is what we're releasing. So the release of you know what? I just saw a release of emotion. Like it could be that there was some kind of upheaval, Libra, or just this energy of like epiphany. Something shifted, maybe even, and I think that what you need to embrace right now is. It's almost like just looking at the facts of a situation. There's a book by Marshall Rosenberg, I believe it is, Nonviolent Communication. It is phenomenal, by the way. I read it around 2014. I had like a lot of books come into my life around that time, but that was one of them that I've kept for sure. I love it so much, and he talks in his book about disconnecting from emotion and opinion in a way. Like we feel it, but we don't bring it into the communication with others 222 on the time about specific things. So we don't say, like, for example, like this justice card here is like this is like detaching your opinion. What are the facts of something that happened? What are the facts of something that happened, and sticking to that? Because when we infuse our emotion, we can create a situation in a scenario that didn't exist. And it's not to be detached from emotion, because here, this release of emotion, I feel like that you might need to just give yourself a cry. Like you might need to have that. And sometimes I do too. Like there are times where I can feel emotion welling up in my body, and I know that I will need to cry it out because it just needs somewhere to go. And tears are not, some kind of negative thing. They are very healthy. Not everyone feels comfortable with public facing tears, certainly, but they are very healthy and human, right? They're very human and humanizing too. And sometimes it just feels good. Like you can tell when tension builds up in your body, and tears aren't necessarily the only release, but just in the context of this release here, like they can shift your perspective because they also release chemicals in your system. After I've cried and had like a good cry, it's not like you induce it. You don't induce it either, but it's just having that and giving yourself the moment just to behold sorrow in your body, to behold disappointment in your body, right? To behold the flow of emotion taking place within you and around you. Like it's very much in this energy of flow and ease as well. And I feel like something hasn't necessarily been easy, Libra. Something hasn't necessarily been easy. With this justice card, I feel like you're embracing what is, and that's really beautiful energy. You're embracing what is. Oh, this is okay. So I'm going to pull a second one. This is the Ten of Swords, but then this is kind of the addition in the deck. Like everything is fine. This is like ignoring the Ten of Swords. So I'm going to pull one here. The Story of the Light. Six of Cups. Yeah. Okay. So there was probably something, I think the light is going to come from a reframing of a situation in the past or from the past, 444 on the time. Because this Six of Cups has to do with the past. It could be a past situation or a person. We are still in the tail end of a Mercury retrograde. But then this 10 of Swords here can also represent this sort of ignoring something about the past that you need to pay attention to. And when you pay attention to it, I feel like this isn't the ignorance thereof. This is like something about the past. You're realizing that the pain had a purpose. And it's like you're not ignoring that anymore. You're not ignoring it. But there, you are letting, like, this is a release I'm feeling in this energy that there's like a release of emotion that just needed to go. That it was just sort of clogging up energy centers and making it difficult to move. I just heard difficult to move. So the Tower energy here is what you know now and where your energy is right now. So you could be, in the midst of a tower, but I feel like it's one that isn't horrible. I feel like it's maybe more of an awareness. I don't want to say awakening because it doesn't feel true to the energy either. The Star. Maybe healing from the Tower. Yeah, and this is also like the things you can't see or aren't seeing, right? Everything is fine. It's the Ten of Swords. You're like, nope, I'm just going to play on my phone instead. And this is like the Eight of Swords. So again, can't see, won't see, right? And I think that you're going from can't, won't to will, because this Justice card is not one of like, it's seeing things very clearly, right? It's like an accurate assessment of events detached from emotion. And then this part here is where you're letting the emotions flow. So I think it's just helping you to take a better perspective. Seven of Pentacles here. I think that healing this, I feel like I almost feel like it might have been a tower that's been taking a while. And the Seven of Pentacles here is saying with the Star and the Eight of Swords that there's something that might have been taking a while to come to fruition. Yeah, this is the clarity here. Queen of Swords and then Justice, right? Let me do this here. I love the light, but it shines on the cards because they're quite glossy. So there we go. The Queen of Swords is like that accurate assessment, right? This is the clarity that you have internally. And then this is you taking that internal understanding and bringing it outwards, right? So I am getting Libra, or I'm getting, yeah, and you're showing up here that it's like you're showing up in a very powerful way for yourself because you're assessing things very clearly. So it's like nurturing your, like, I want to say nurturing a clear assessment of the situation, right? Nurturing clarity, not just clarity about what you want, but clarity about something that happened. Because I feel like it's kind of been hanging in your energy a little bit. Spirit, what messages do you have? Thank you. Eight of Cups. Okay, these are jumping now. Empress. Queen of Wands. There's a train horn, and what came to mind is your train is coming in. So maybe you're going somewhere, Libra. This could be, I'm picking up travel with the Eight of Cups, and that's not a travel card typically. But the eights, so we have the Eight of Swords, we have the Eight of Cups. That's a change number. 555 and 888 tend to be numbers of change, or related to in some capacity. Spirit, what messages do you have for Libra for this burning question spread? We have the Two of Pentacles. I think it's almost, this is like a question of deserving. I feel this two of Pentacles is like the Queen of Wands and the Empress are together here, where it's like perhaps the way that you are seeing a situation or yourself is through like the Queen of Wands, but what you actually are is the Empress. And again, this is kind of your energy as well, Libra, because this represents Venus, who rules over the seventh house in part, and that is your house. So it's almost like there's like an octave of love to this as well. It's not just sort of cold hard facts here, this like accurate assessment. I'm hearing reality check. Maybe reality check. That can sound kind of abrupt, and like it's been used in so many different ways that can, be not great. So I'm hesitant to use it because it sounds like judgment, but like hidden judgment. Like, well, that's a reality check for you. Like, it's not, it doesn't feel great for me to say it like that. So I'm feeling like there's something about this, just looking at things as they are and what is, as opposed to pushing against and all of that. And I feel like you're leaving behind the pushing against, and you are just seeing things as they are. And this is giving you the power to know what to walk away from and what to, I'm hearing, stand up for with the Justice card. Um, yeah. But then it's like the Venus octave of justice shows up as well. So it's like there could be something that you're making a decision about related to love, a career that you're passionate about, something you're passionate about. This could be, different projects, whether you're taking on an assignment at work, something along those lines. Yeah, but and it's like maybe you felt like you weren't really certain. There wasn't a sense of certainty. But the Two of Pentacles can also represent adaptability, right? It also represents adaptability. So, being able to balance many things. The Tower just flipped up and then back in. So the Tower flipped up and back in, and then so let's do this here. I'm going to put the Tower back in because it didn't fall out. And then what flipped out was the Eight of Wands. So there could be some communication from afar. This could also be travel. Again, I picked up on travel with the Eight of Cups, and it's not a travel card. So now we have three eights. So we have the Eight of Swords, the Eight of Cups, and the Eight of Wands. And that's 888. So that might be of relevance to you, Libra. Could be communication to or about something you're compassionate about. Interesting. Passionate about was the word I was looking for, but maybe it does evoke compassion from you. Maybe you're having compassion for yourself as well. And this could be just like taking a small trip to like treat yourself so that you're balanced again, right? Or, finding a way to feel at peace and ease through whatever this Tower was. It could, so the signs that I'm seeing so far are yours in Aquarius. So you could have, a blend of those in your chart. Or it could just be, that you're dealing with Aquarian energy, which is 11th house and sort of friendships, community, that kind of idea. There's some kind of passionate communication, though. You could be very passionate about a specific project, and you're adapting to different ways of doing things. And this Eight of Wands is about you finding new ways to implement. Let me do this here. It's not fully closed. I like the light, like I said, but it's reflecting. There we go. So this Eight of Wands energy is, I think, a bit of adaptability and then moving forward, like fast momentum forward, fast communication. So that could be, getting word from a boss that you have the green light to participate in or do a specific project, and then you go forward with that. So clarifying the Queen of Cups, we have the Queen of Cups and the Seven of Swords. I get this as being a little bit like you're not, like there's something about your emotions that you don't fully trust here. Like there's something you're not completely trusting about your emotions, maybe yourself too. We'll see, we'll clarify more, but there's a little bit of that happening here, Libra. On this emotional release, like there's a reason why the release is showing up here as something to release is emotions. And it's not about just like setting your emotions free and communicating. I'm getting that this is like, I'm getting that this is like set yourself free emotionally and just cry, just do the thing, say the thing, feel the thing, and let yourself be in that energy, right? So we have the Seven of Swords. Spirit, can you clarify that for me? 10 of Swords. Okay, so the 10 of Swords twice here. So this is kind of a letting go, for sure. There's a lot that's... So sometimes it can be little things. Like when I was a kid, after my... This is a weird example, but I'm using it here just as an example of how some things can trigger emotions in us that needed to be released, and that when they do, we're like, why the heck was that? It feels like it's a response that feels out of proportion to the situation. So sometimes that happens, but you have to trust yourself and lean into that, because your body can carry things with you that you don't realize that is there, right? For example, when I was a kid, this was quite a few years after my parents got divorced, and my dad, he had left he moved out of the family home, and we were, just doing our thing. And it was, I think, actually, maybe this was the first Christmas after he left, but whenever Jack Frost came out, that movie, and I remember I remember this ache in the pit of my stomach when he found out that his dad wasn't coming home, right? And I cried so hard at that movie, and I couldn't figure out why. My family was like, "What the hell?" Like, so they were, and but it's the way that gets stored in your body, right? And then something triggers that and then triggers a release, and it feels out of proportion to people around you. I mean, as a kid it's more understandable, but if you're an adult, there can be some like if you're grown up, it can be, there can be some needing to make sure that if it's out of proportion, that you're making sure that you're in a safe space and okay with you doing that. But also, I'm not talking about anger and things like that directed at other people. I'm talking about an inward facing process. So but this 10 of Swords is like letting go, but it feels like a very profound release, Libra, like very profound, like not a little bit, like the whole, like a lot of it. Ace of Wands, that's the new, yeah, and the Magician. I feel like this, whatever this was, maybe it's already happened. Like maybe you've had this go down already, but it's sort of like releasing, and then bam, that it's not like a new. It's like, it feels like fresh air, like fresh air. I'm smelling campfire smoke on this. I have the windows closed because it's ridiculously hot today, but like, huzzah, air conditioning. But this is like, I'm getting that this energy is like something new that is blooming within you because you've decided to do the hard thing and feel this release. It could be the releasing the need that you might have had to hang on to situations, or to keep your emotions to yourself, but not in a way that's like, yeah, keep your emotions to yourself. Okay, so thanks for that, Spirit. So that's, yeah. And then on the Six of Cups, maybe it was something to do with the past. But it could also be just nostalgia as well, right? Like sometimes it's there. So in another, to use another example, I was house sitting for someone, and I had left, this was a couple years ago. I was house sitting for someone, and I had, left one home and was house sitting there for a while. And it was a fantastic experience. They had a beautiful home, and I was so grateful, and I got to watch after their kitties. Like it was wonderful. But this was like the way the sunlight hit the bedroom in the evening. I just felt this pang one day in my gut, and I teared up, and I was like, wow, I don't know what I'm missing right now. And I remember as a kid, there was a TV show that we would watch all together, all of us, and that pang hit, and it took me back to that memory because of the way the sunlight used to hit the wall in the evenings in that apartment building that we lived in. So it was something that was so unassuming, but it's like there's something like that perhaps that's happening. It's such a visceral and very specific example, but that's what I'm thinking of with this nostalgia energy. And the King of Cups is like, it's not about romancing the past, but it's about putting it in its right place here with the Justice card, and taking what you can from the good times while releasing the not great, right? While releasing the not great. And that, like, yeah, while releasing the not great. And that can even be just like releasing your need to control your emotions about something, and to just let yourself feel sad for a half a second, maybe 30 seconds if you need even. Because the Queen of Cups showed up twice, plus the King of Cups here. So I'm thinking that maybe there's something to do with that. So I think that it's like maybe a little reminiscing. So something to nurture maybe is, so several thoughts just went through my head, unsurprisingly. But sometimes we can reminisce, and when we do that, when we reminisce, we get into an energy of, or we're in that energy because that's like a movement of energy towards something that's easy to focus on, whereas sometimes we need that energy to be focused on something else happening to us in the present moment. So we reminisce because that feels better than where we are in another specific energy. So it's kind of it's a redirection, but it's also allowing the emotions to flow. So sometimes it's okay and wise to just check in with yourself when you're in that energy of, because reminiscing is like a kind of longing, right? It's a kind of longing for something that cannot come back. So it's like I always look to my life at that point when I feel in that energy and it's strong. What is it about? Is this something that's connected to my present moment that I'm not listening to or hearing? that is actually connected to another point in time for me. That, you know, it's like, is my past speaking through something I'm not feeling right now? Which sounds weird, but I feel like sometimes we can get into these places when we're busy, or we're just not, you know, there's something we don't want to focus on or look at. And that can be a way that we feel the thing. And you just showed up again, Libra. Justice. Yeah, this confirms for me that it's needing to see things pretty clearly. It's needing to embrace clear vision, and also knowing too that there's a sense of, like, the Justice card is also a card of integrity, right? It's like where your words and actions align. And I think that this is kind of as what you're doing for yourself. Like, I think that you're making sure that your words and actions align for you. And the Six of Cups here tells me as well that this is possibly related to the ways that people may not have shown up for you when you were wee. Or, you know, just as a kid, like disappointments and things like that. So there can be ways that you're starting to show up for yourself like this, but you need to give yourself the feeling of loss. You need to give yourself time to lose things, not just as they exit your life, but you need to give yourself a chance to lose them in your heart too, which sounds probably, it's just part of the grieving process. I was going to say it might sound weird or bad, but no, like, I feel like you have to give yourself a chance to lose people. Not because you like the feeling of sorrow or sadness or grieving, but I think that you have to give yourself that because it honors the good times that make it sad to begin with. Because that's where that hits, right? So it's like, because every relationship that we have, every connection that we have, usually even work and projects, all of that stuff, right? This could be something as simple as like Tower not getting a job that you applied for, right? And then this kicks off this kind of cycle or pattern. And I think that this is connected in a way in here from what I'm seeing, because I wanted to broaden it so that it wasn't just about relationship, right? So it can relate to really anything. But I'm seeing here that it's this energy of, like, even with a job, like there was always something that made you excited about it in the first place. And things can change and they shift and they move and they, you know, twist and turn around and all of that stuff. But at the end of the day, there was still something exciting about it for us at one point in time. And we don't have to hang on to that energy and deny our feelings. We can feel the loss. We can feel anger. We can feel all these different things. It's okay to feel that. But if we let those dictate or color our perspective in the long run, what can end up happening is we get into a position where we don't see, like, we see things almost, this shows up as almost justice in reverse, because we're doing ourselves an injustice in the long run, number one, because we're not assessing things clearly, right? Because that too is an inaccurate assessment, right? Even situations that I and jobs that I hated, they weren't all bad. There were still some good times, right? Otherwise you wouldn't have stayed, right? In some cases, there are some dynamics that are very difficult to leave. So I do want to make space for that and honor that, but it's okay. There's got to be a balance to it, right? There has to be some kind of balance. And I think the balance here is one that you're giving yourself. And this could be, this could also represent inner child work that is pushing those 10 swords out and really healing that. So that could be something helpful to keep in mind as well. King of Cups, Six of Swords, Justice. What else do you have for me, Spirit? Yeah, there's something about this perspective. Making very clear decisions for yourself. 10 of Cups. Yeah, I feel like that's the fulfillment piece for you right now, Libra. And I think that doing this is going to, it's almost like I'm seeing, so I've seen videos where they do like surfing-ish, where they let a river run into the ocean. I've never seen it in person, but for some reason YouTube decided that I should be watching these things. So it popped up in my algorithm and I was like, what? This is so obscure. But it's like this, I feel like it's something like that, right? Where like salt water is meeting with fresh water, and it's like, it's just this flow that's going through now. And that unlocks, like, those are your 10 cups overflowing and moving for you, so that you're able to surf it and you are able to ride that wave. And yeah. So I think that there's some healing here. This was a lot packed into a little reading. But I think that what you're nurturing right now is your perspective, and a more healing perspective at that, Libra. Nurturing a little bit more of a healing perspective for yourself. Love is the reason. Whoops. Love is the reason. It says each person in your life is there for a reason, and that reason always has something to do with love. Whoops. Yeah. So I feel like this is a little bit about self-love, appreciation. It could be, like loving a job so much and then something happens and there's a tower and you're like, wait, this doesn't feel like the place I should be putting all of my love into. That can happen, but I think it's important to remember that these things call us deeper in, right? These things call us deeper into relationship. These things call us deeper into ourselves. They call us deeper into work that we're doing. Towers are not opportunities for things to just disappear, right? They're not, and that can be a byproduct of abandonment wounds too, because if everything disappears, then you just jump to that first. Like then it's disappearing again, right? And I, again, know this because I've had to work through it. There's actually a book that I have that I'm going to recommend. The Abandonment Recovery Workbook. I worked through that, I would say 2016. The Abandonment Recovery Workbook by, let me see here. It's on my disaster shelf, but by Susan Anderson. Yeah. Abandonment Recovery Workbook by Susan Anderson. That book helped me process and place a situation where I was cheated on. So that was really helpful for that. But one of the things I learned from doing that work is that you'll see abandonment through every situation that you experience if there's a wound that you're experiencing your relationships through, right? So that just to say that that could be something that's happening here. I'm not sure why that all came up. I'm channeling, so my mind is not, it's just flowing through. What else do you have for me, Spirit, for nurturing here for Libra? Love is never in vain. Wow. These are a lot of messages of love, Libra. That you could feel like something you did was wasted, like love that you expended or put out into the world was wasted, right? You could feel like, passion that you had for a project or work was wasted somehow, but it's not. It really isn't, and it never is. That's the thing to keep in mind, is that it never is. You might feel like it, but that's another invitation to go deeper. And the cards here are not suggesting you're staying in some kind of wounding. They're actually saying that you're moving through and onwards. These are just resources I'm putting out there in case they might help you, and as they're coming through. But this is to me, this is new. Like you're banking on you here, Libra. And I think that that's a really good, you will find a very fruitful ROI, return on investment. Because when we invest in ourselves, and that's like you're investing in yourself here, right? Investing in yourself. Let's pull from the Miracles Now deck and see where that takes us. Let's see where this goes. The cards are starting to bend, so I'm going to do it backwards. When in doubt, I play it out. And this is maybe some role playing conversations. There was a book, of course, why wouldn't I be recommending a book? It is called It Didn't Start With You. Now, I read this when it first came out in 2017-ish, 2018, and it was really, what I loved about this book was that it talks about conversations that you can have with yourself. As your parents, as you wanted parents to have conversations with you, these are healing things that they would have said to you and that you can say to them from a healed place. So these things can also be, that's a kind of role play, right? So role playing these things so that you can have conversations that you may not have gotten the chance to have, Ten of Swords can represent a bit of a lack of closure. When it shows up twice, it can represent different things. I feel like there's a lot happening with that, but sometimes that can give us that sense of closure, especially when it's something that we couldn't control or it was something related to childhood that we can't go back to and fix. Those are really helpful tools, I find. So just as a thought, when in doubt, I play it out. That could also just be letting things play out and surrendering, right? Don't fight what is. Just let it be. Let it be. As difficult as it is, let it be and just embrace what's happening, right? Embrace what's happening. Embrace the totality of where you are. I let my intimate relationships be my greatest learning devices for spiritual growth and healing. Yeah. So I think this is also about, I'm hearing forgiving yourself too. Yeah. And knowing that intimate relationships are a place where we're all learning. That includes the person that you were with, or the people that you were engaging with, or the project that you're working on, or bosses and friends and family, like coworkers, everybody. Like, we're all learning and we're all doing our best. And the reason why I think this reading is coming up for you, Libra, is because there's something about love here, not just love for yourself, but I think a little bit of forgiveness for yourself too. So Libra, that was your Burning Questions reading. If it resonated, please like and subscribe. It definitely helps me to grow this channel, and I really appreciate you being here. So thank you for watching. It's been a joy to watch this little corner of YouTube grow. So thank you for that. And there are other ways you can connect on the channel, but if this is where we leave it, Libra, I hope that wherever this finds you on the time-space continuum, morning, afternoon, or night, it finds you very well. Take care, my friends. Bye.